Why, hello there. Welcome to another real talk, I guess. Right here, you see me playing some free-for-all chivalry medieval warfare, and just as a forewarning, for like the first 5 minutes or so, I get absolutely shit on. But no, I actually after a little bit pick up on it a little bit, and I actually start making heads roll. So even after I'm done talking, feel free to stick around if you want to see some carnage. Free-for-all is kind of a clusterfuck though, so that's just one of my main reasons against it, but nothing will ever stop me from going into a free-for-all server, just because, I don't know, it's fun to drop into and get your skill back up. But anyways, today I wanted to talk about self-teaching and stuff like that. It's something that I'm going to be embarking on soon. I thought it'd be fun to talk about. But what I mean by self-teaching is just by either using the internet or books and like dedicating yourself to learning a subject on your own. And that actually is a very effective way of learning, especially nowadays with the internet, because in our pocket, our phones are just the entire like collection of human knowledge just from accessing the internet. And it's quite insane, actually. The internet is such a resourceful place that you can learn pretty much anything without having to go to classes to it nowadays. If you want to learn a language, just get Duolingo, the app. It's completely free, and it's like one of the best teaching apps ever for language learning. I was learning a bit of Russian there at one point. I stopped at one point for some reason. I just didn't have the dedication. And that's another thing I need to touch on about self-teaching, is that you have to have dedication to do it on your own, you know? A lot of times it's very helpful to find those communities that, like, find a community that's doing what you're doing and start learning that stuff. When I'm about to like I already ordered a book and stuff for it, and I'm actually already researching a bit online. Is I'm getting into astronomy here and just looking up into the sky with the naked eye, also using like binoculars and a telescope and stuff like that. I'm hoping at one point to find somebody. Actually, I already have a friend who's already also getting interested into it, and so I mean, like, having somebody else while like teaching yourself is also a great resource, because, you know, of course, more minds are better than one, and you get different viewpoints and stuff like that. Another interesting one is game design. You could actually learn, probably not all of it, all you need to know, but you can learn a really hefty amount through the internet. At one point, I was making source maps in the source engine. I was actually messing around and trying to make more of like a ambient or environmental kind of thing, but that would have taken a lot of the dedication. That, I mean, like, I was curious in it, but I wasn't really interested in sitting down for a while and you know, making a full-fledged map, because that would take maybe it would take at least a couple of months for a good one. But yeah, I was sitting there making the source maps at one point. I was messing around with it. That stuff was really fun, actually. I'd recommend getting into making source maps through Hammer and stuff like that. And also you could also look up tutorials about making games in like the Unity engine and stuff. And contrary to popular belief, there are good games in the Unity engine. But I was also learning a little bit there how to make like a platformer and stuff through Unity. But platformers aren't my thing. I just get inspired to make a certain thing. I've been learning some coding lately as well, and so that would be helping me. And one of my friends is really heavy into code kind of stuff. So I mean, so another one of my friends has made an asteroids game just through code, which is fantastic. And I feel like with his help, we could actually work together and stuff like that. So I mean, self-teaching, you can get a lot done all by yourself, but there is a point where you have to get input from somebody that is actually knowledgeable on the subject. But something I gotta leave you with is, as soon as you get inspired to learn something, there's something that fascinates you, something that really interests you, and you actually think about it a lot, and you like are really curious about learning it. Learn as much as you can from, you know, just visiting your local library, and you also using the internet to your advantage. Doing just that is pretty perfect, actually. And then once you learn a knowledgeable amount and you still feel like doing it a lot, then I think that's the time to take something like classes and stuff like that, because self-teaching could take you far away, but I don't think it could take you all the way, especially if you're super interested in something that like you want to be really good at and you want to learn it all the ins and outs. So anyways, guys, I'll leave you with that knowledge. Go out there and get inspired, And I hope you have a great rest of your day. And feel free to stick around and watch the rest of the gameplay, because about here is where I start rolling heads a bit. So yeah, just have a great rest of your day, and I'll talk to you maybe later this week or next week. We'll have to see. So anyways, have a good one.